I never thought a plate of food could change my life. My name's Leela, and I was 20 when I learned that kindness sometimes comes with consequences you can't predict. I worked in a tiny diner in Jacksonville, Oregon, one of those places where everybody knows your name, your business, and usually your failures. That afternoon, the bell above the door jingled. I looked up and saw him. A man who could have been from another era. Rugged, weathered, hair graying at the temples, eyes that had seen more roads than anyone I knew. He sat down at a corner booth. No one else was in the diner, and the place smelled of fried bacon and stale coffee. "Can I get a cheeseburger?" he asked, voice gravelly. "Sure thing." He didn't order fries, didn't order a drink, just the burger. He pulled out a wallet that looked like it belonged in a museum, leather cracked, photos peeking out, and then he looked at me, really looked. Not in a scary way, but with a heaviness that made me feel like he could see every mistake I had ever made. I set the burger down. He stared at it. He didn't reach for it. You don't have to," I stammered. He chuckled softly. "I don't have much, but maybe you need the money more than I do." Before I could protest, I found myself saying, "It's on the house. Go on, eat." He looked shocked, then grateful. That was it. Just a small gesture. I didn't know that it was the start of something that would turn my world upside down. Weeks passed. I went back to my routine, serving eggs and pancakes, wiping counters, listening to the same gossip about the mayor's son or the woman who never paid her bills. Life was small, predictable, suffocating. Then the call came. My boss handed me the phone. "You've got to take this," he said, his voice tight. I answered. "Hello? This is Hawk. You don't know me. You helped someone who needed help. And now it's time we return the favor." I laughed nervously. I think you have the wrong number." "No, we know who you are. Come outside. We're waiting." I hung up, heart hammering. I peeked out the diner window. At first I saw nothing. Then, the rumble. Engines. Hundreds of them. Leather and chrome. Every biker I had ever glimpsed in town seemed to have multiplied overnight. They lined the street like guardians, forming a protective wall around the diner. I froze. And then I saw him. The old man. The one I fed weeks ago. He lifted his hand, and the bikers fell silent. "Go ahead, Leela. We've got you." I swallowed. I had never felt so small. And so safe. I stepped outside. The asphalt vibrated under the weight of the motorcycles. I could smell gasoline and leather, hear the faint clinking of chains and boots on metal. "Don't worry about them anymore," Hawk said, gesturing toward the distant buildings. "The people in this town, they'll think twice about bothering you again." I shook my head. "I don't understand. Why are you doing this?" Hawk smiled, that crooked, gravelly smile. "Because you did something right when almost no one does. You gave without expecting anything in return. That's worth protecting. That's worth an army." For hours, I walked between them, each biker offering a nod, a silent acknowledgement, respect that felt heavier than any weapon. I felt like I belonged somewhere, like I mattered, like someone finally saw me. And then, just as quietly as it began, they left, engines roaring, dust swirling, leaving only a single business card in my hand. Hawk's Garage in Portland. Call when you're ready. I looked around the street. Empty again. Ordinary again. But inside, I knew that I had changed. My life had changed. Weeks later, I quit that diner, moved to Portland, started working with Hawk and his crew, fixing bikes, learning the road, learning respect, learning that sometimes kindness comes back to you in ways you could never imagine. And I'll never forget that first day. The small gesture, the cheeseburger on the house, and the way an entire motorcycle club showed up not to scare me, but to save me. Sometimes the world seems cruel. Sometimes the people around you are blind. But occasionally, it rewards the ones who see others, who help, who risk nothing for something bigger than themselves. That day, I learned that courage and kindness are always noticed, even by those who live on the edges of the world riding chrome steeds under the American sky.